What's up, everybody? It's Jez7780 here with Grinds My Gears Quick Bites. Definitely, I wanted to get some impressions on what's been going on out there, and I've been back a week. It's been rough. It's been a rough couple of weeks, but I just want to definitely get some more content out there, and there's been some stuff going on. Not super meaningful stuff, but just enough, and actually, what I wanted to say is that it's addressing some of my complaints from my last video, where Sony was just so quiet, and just Microsoft just kept talking and talking, and with this now, we had the about a week ago, we had the reveal of the PlayStation 5 hardware breakdown, and I just wanted to just give some impressions of it, and I did it over on Saltiest podcast, but I definitely wanted to just to kind of go through just some just general impressions of what I thought with it, and with that, I'll just have the video running here, and we could just jump into it. So finally, Sony showed the teardown of the PlayStation 5. It wasn't something that was like we needed. Like, I was like, oh my god, like, where's the hardware breakdown? Where is it? People going crazy about it, like, Sony scared and all that, all that other hubbub, all the other crap. But this thing it's a huge bitch. This thing is big. This is a big. It doesn't help that the guy's kind of small. Showing it, but this thing is tall. This thing is big. It has USB-C on the front, which is pretty awesome. That is something different than the Xbox Series X, and it has the USB in the front, and then two USBs in the back. And then you can see with the with the breakdown, it does not have the optical cable. So as the same thing with the Xbox, they dropped it, the optical cable. So a lot of your audio is going to be transferred through HDMI or through the USB with the headsets. Now, from what I read, the HDMI, the headset, the USB will be supporting the virtual surround sound and the 3D audio. Here's that screw to everybody. Screw you, Vinny, Benny. Screw you. There's a screw. Triggered a lot of people when it got announced. But look, there's even a little compartment for the screw to put it in so you don't lose it. I think it's pretty cool because the stand it doesn't just sit on the stand. That thing is probably going to be top heavy and it'll have prone to tip. So by having that secure base screwed in, screw you into the base, then it helps it from completely just flopping over. And then the cool thing with the grip, and then it just goes on its side, and now you got this beast laying on its side, and I think that stand over there is pretty cool. The fact that it's convertible like that, and it's not just like a plate where the system is sitting on top of it. But this was the huge thing. For me, that's huge. I love that with the 360, with the customized faceplates. We got them with some games. I had a Gears of War one. They were cool. They actually had plastic ones, and then you could put vinyl stickers on them. So you could change them as you could do that. And you could do that with the 360. The fact that these two things pop off, the potential is huge. Those are some air vents right there to dust collectors, so you can make sure that the dust doesn't get into the system, you can clean those out. But the biggest thing is that those panels just come off. Like, for a system that is having so much power put into it, having those panels pop off is huge. Like, that's customization. That's something that's really cool. And then this is the other big thing from this, was where the M.2 drive goes. And one screw, another screw you, Benny. Everybody got triggered with the screw. And you can see, that's one thing I did wanted to point out, is that, all that removal right there that he just did, that's all part of the game, man. That's all part of, you pop those things off, you put that screw in there, you're not voiding warranties or anything like that. That's supposed to come off, which those customizations on those plates, even if Sony doesn't do it, which shame on them if they don't, but I expect that they will, and you'll probably see a lot more custom consoles, because all it is for Sony is just swapping out the faceplates, new piece of plastic. So we might get more limited edition consoles or consoles associated with games more, and accessories, because of the ability to do that. And if they don't do it, which is shame on them, third party's going to do it, and third party's going to make some crazy crazy customizations, vinyl wraps, all that stuff, and you basically transform your whole entire system. That was one thing with the 360 was that you did the faceplate, it looked good from the front, but from the side or from the top or wherever you had it standing or laying down, basically the rest of the console was either white or still white. Like it looked disconnected a little bit. Where here you're putting the two plates on the side, it changes the whole console. Like that the whole console's changed with those two faceplates. It's you just have that the piano black piano black thing inside. The main body which he's taking apart now, and the venting, and there's two fans on either side of it, which it's pretty cool. For the making sure that the airflow goes across the unit. But again, I'm not too much into the hardware aspect of it. This is really cool to break down. I'm never going to do that, but just the modularity of having those panels come off and where that M.2 drive is. And I said that's an advantage over what the Xbox has, because the M.2 drive is an open market. Those prices will drop. There's competition. There's different sizes. That Seagate being locked to a memory card. Now, Microsoft did say that other people will be possibly making those memory cards. But the thing is that up front, there's 1 terabyte, $220, and you're looking for it. That was one of the biggest problems. Not just the proprietary drive and the fact that they probably jacked up the price a little bit. The fact is that it's the only method of expanding your hardware space, your hard drive space for that. So if those are sold out, and if you recall back when the PlayStation camera was sold out, and that was the only camera you could use with the system and stuff like that. Like, it's going to be an issue to keep those in stock. And now if you cannot utilize that, especially if you get the Series S booster, you get the booster. Nobody likes you, booster. You get the Series, you get the Series S. You got 500 gigabytes right there. Good luck, with that. You install a couple of games and you're like, where's the next hard drive? Because you can't use the next gen features, quote unquote, next gen features, without the SSD. You could use external drives, but that will be only to play your backlog of games. You can't use the new features like instant resume and all that stuff without it being on the SSD. So it has to either be on that proprietary disk or on the main hard drive. So the availability of a one type of drive from one manufacturer, good luck with stock. So that's the issue. It's not necessarily just the up cost of a proprietary, but the fact is that that's the only drive that will do this. Whereas Sony, the M.2 drive is an open market. You could get different. There might be ones that work better than others, but it's an open market. The sales will drive down the price. The prices will drive down more because it's competition, and you'll get different varying sizes. You can decide what you want. I don't know what the max size is, but at least you're able to do that. And you could go on Amazon and go find them. You could go to Newegg and go find them. It's an open market. More flexibility. You drop it in that drive. It's like RAM. You just pop it in, boom, done. So calm down with the screws and all this other stuff, because you know what? If that was Xbox, that would have been ingenious. But Xbox decided to go the route of memory cards for whatever the shit deals that Phil Ness does. Sony went with an open hard drive. Boom, open market. Those prices will be, you could get 500, 1, 2 terabytes before you even see a terabyte of a memory card. You got to wait. Just remember the memory cards. Memory cards are a pain in the ass. Overpriced, not enough space, and you got to go look for them. Well, that's what you got to do here with the Xbox. And especially if you get the old digital one, you have less space in that one. Now back to the PlayStation and its choice. So first off, you got the modularity with the customization with this, and this is all bonuses, right? The system, what it does, and the games that's delivering, that's the most important thing in the games. But bonus customization, awesome. Open market, M.2 drives, drop them in, awesome. Any size that you could get, when the prices drop down, it's an open market. Those prices will drop faster than proprietary hardware. Secondly, custom stand that actually comes off the friggin' console. The Xbox Series X has a stand that just etched onto the side of it. So when that thing's on its side, it looked like it tipped over. It's like a big disc in the back on the bottom of it that blocks the vents from the intake on the side, and it doesn't come off. So when the Xbox Series X is on its side, it looks like it tipped over because that big plate just sits on the middle. Really not very aesthetically pleasing. That thing on its side, that's another huge bit on its side. That thing doesn't look, that thing looks like it fell over. This the customer, and you have that plate that comes off for the stand. The other thing that I want to point out, reason why I froze here, is that the Blu-ray drive I heard some people breaking it down saying that it's in an encasement, which actually reduces the sound and the reverb from the actual disc spinning. That's something that somebody noticed when they were showing the Blu-ray drive, that it's actually in an encasement. It's not just a open raw drive that's sitting out there, and which is pretty damn interesting because it does keep the sound of the disc spinning muffled. So that's one of the things. And then here's the Wi-Fi. They said the Wi-Fi 6, which is great. I don't have the Wi-Fi 6 yet in my router, but something for future proofing of the console. And then he takes out the and then when it comes to the heatsink, that thing is crazy. And the other cool thing, and again, like hardware wise, like the other cool thing has the processor and the APU. There it is. That they show. He takes it apart. Let's just forward through this thing a little bit. There it is. Do 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 do. T2. Hasta la vista, baby. Liquid metal cooling. So they got the T1000s built into the PlayStation 5. Oh, damn it. Oh, baby. There's some liquid metal in there. And one of the concerns I saw people bringing up is that, with PCs, liquid metal has to, the liquid metal cooling has to be refreshed because it dries out, the liquid metal cooling. That came up with a couple of, here's your SSDs. Look at them. They etched onto the board. But one of the things with and there's the SSD controller that's probably determining how it's processing data from those SSDs. So it's not just a SSD slammed onto there. There's a controller that's actually controlling how the data is coming off of those SSDs, which is pretty damn interesting. But the liquid metal cooling, it's actually in an encasement. Sony had a patent on it to basically show why how they're using the liquid metal, and the liquid metal's in an encasement that won't dry out, and it won't there it is, the T1000. It's pretty damn cool. Liquid metal. That is pretty damn cool. But for the hardware junkies out there, that's pretty neat. And it has that huge heatsink that he was going to put out there. It's like boom, that thing is monstrous. That is crazy. Look at those coils and thermals and stuff. Yeah, they got to keep that thing cool. So Sony makes hardware. I know we did Sony. So Microsoft's been the software. That's why I'm in shock. There's a power supply. There's a power supply there. But Sony makes hardware. They make TVs. They make they do hardware. Hardware is their thing. Engineering and stuff like that. So it's pretty impressive. And the way they did it, pretty cool. They didn't have a bunch of magnets and people doing hokey dokey stuff and influencers and YouTubers. I see that's the route that Microsoft's been doing with Digital Foundry and friends and kind of making them be the going through that with the magnets and all that other stuff. But here I wanted to show with the one of the things I wanted to show here is the Xbox on its side here, just to give it image what I'm saying. Let's see, what's it? But yeah, I have to say, it is it's pretty impressive, and yeah, here it is. This is gonna look weird, but yeah, this is what I was referring to with the the Xbox on its side. And I'll just share this here. There's gonna be like a recorded. Here we go. Same. And then this is the that don't come off, which I was surprised. When they show that, that does not come off. Um, at all. So when things on its side, it's sitting there like this plate. It's blocking the vents from the intake. Because remember, everything flowing on the Xbox is flowing out. There've been some reports going on that there's been a lot of heat coming off of it out of the top when it's in standby, like it's doing stuff. And they said that it is going to do the instant resume and all that other stuff. So there is some things going on, but there's a lot of concern that it's really hot coming out of here. And I'm sure you feel your computer and your things like that, like you feel warm. But they said it's very toasty, and this thing is just one big fan pumping out. There's no cross ventilation with two fans like the PlayStation has. It's just one big fan. Cross your fingers. I hope they know what they're doing. Remember, Microsoft had the one with the heating problems with the 360 with the red ring of death. So hopefully they absolve that, because remember, the Xbox One was so big because of the ventilation. They were concerned with the 360. The 360 was a compact machine. It was concave, and they had heating issues with it. But the Xbox One was this big VCR box, and it was done like that because of the ventilation. They wanted to make sure this thing was meant to always be on, to sit there in a standby mode. So it had the big fans on it, Well, this thing is going to be on its side like that. So it is what it is. We'll see what it is once they get it, because everybody keeps putting that disclaimer out there, like this is early, and it can't be removed. That's the other thing, is that it can't be removed at all, which that's unfortunate, because you would think that thing could just lock off or something like that, and something along those lines, but it doesn't. It basically is it basically just sits there on its side, like it's etched onto the plastic for it. And then just going into as a comparison, because grinds my gears, we compare everything here. And this is what the Xbox looks like built in. Everybody's crowded, stacked on the deck. There's your big fan. You could see how their Blu-ray drive is not in an encasement like the PlayStation there. So if there's any kind of sound or spinning and stuff like that, it's not in a muffled case like the PlayStation has. And then their heatsink is pretty it's that, where is this, their heatsink? Yeah, it looks nice and neat, but like, yeah, everything is just sitting on top of each other. And it just has one big fan. So and the thing is that its intake, the only ventilation is from the bottom. So that's why this stand exists. So it elevates it off the ground a little bit so that the airflow could go in, up, and out. In, up, and out. So when it's on its side, it's in, up, and out. But the problem is that this, when it's on its side, you should be able to take this off to make the airflow even better go through it. But you can't. That thing is built into the case. So you have this plate blocking a majority of the air intake that's going to grab to bring it in. So you know what? Hey, they know better than me what's going on. But there's that huge fan, and yeah, it's a Frankenstein of a machine. It looks pretty cool, like that it fits in there, and the fact that it's small, it's definitely smaller than the PlayStation 5, but we're going to have to see in action of what this thing is going to do. Now, again, it's only running backwards compatibility games right now. Wait to see some next-gen games. There's no next-gen, real exclusives. I guess we got the Medium to see if this thing's going to go blowing up. So we got the Medium, which is coming out in December. Not a launch title, but it's in December. So, we could see about that, for a game built for the Series X, because otherwise you're looking at a bunch of games that are just backwards compatible, play old games. But yeah, see, here's the Blu-ray drive there. The battle of hardware, again, this is it. I'm done with the hardware. I'm glad it's done. I'm glad everybody showed what they got to show, because it's about the games. And I'm ready for the games. And that's where we're going to be at. So I'm just glad that the hardware stuff is out of there. The tech specs are done. I'm going to do a next video talking about how we got some games being shown on the Series X, which, yeah, not too great. And then also we got some PlayStation games being shown, and, the Miles Morales and stuff like that. Like, you need software to demonstrate the capabilities of this hardware. And launch time, it's usually a challenging time to kind of demonstrate that, but there usually is a couple of games from your first party that really demonstrates all this hardware and why it works together. Actually, speaking about software wise, the UIs on these, PlayStation has yet to reveal them. I believe they're going to reveal it on October 15th. I don't know, they're in conjunction with Burger King. I don't know what the hell Burger King has to do with it, but October 15th is when they're going to show the PlayStation UI. And Xbox UI has been shown on a bunch of YouTube videos, and it's basically similar to exactly what's on your series, what's on the Xbox One X's right now currently. So it's nothing really different or next gen-ish at all. It's just faster and more improved. And that's been Microsoft's MO this whole since the Xbox One X. It's just been play your old games better. Hey, these old games didn't run too well. Well, they're gonna run better now, and and with maybe new games will run good too. And that's been their MO. They're not there to kind of say, hey, here's next gen, here's a generation, here's a game. They haven't been doing that. It's really just another refresh, and the Series X is being put in that position as well, where I'm seeing a lot of hands-on of the system, and it looks like that. So, hey, it is what it is. I think it'll just appeal to, they're pandering to their crowd. The people that really enjoy Xbox are gonna get it, and eventually maybe they'll open up their eyes and say like, hey, what am I really doing this, like, why I really believe in this brand when I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for all these potential things. And you sit there, hey. You'll open up your eyes going, what am I waiting for? We're getting games of the years. Everybody's dropping games left and right. They don't have to buy 5 and 10 studios to drop some software. They just say, hey, you know what? Square Enix, put Final Fantasy. It's coming over here. Final Fantasy Remake 7. There you go. Boom. They didn't have to buy Square Enix to have that happen. And that's the point that I always make. It's like, why is this whole we gotta buy them and then we gotta wait for them to get funding to make a game, and then eventually if that game comes out, is it good? That sounds like a lot of waiting, and ain't nobody got time for that. But the waiting is over for the hardware. Thank goodness. PlayStation, cool things. The things that those pop off, really cool, amazing. We still need to see what the controller breakdown of that thing, but you got the impact triggers, the resistive triggers. You also have the roll, what is it, the 3D feel and all that other stuff. We'll see how that works. I'm interested in see, hey, it's something new, something interesting. Could be a hoax, could be a okie dokie. It could be that it's scanning my heartbeat just like Kinect. It could be all that crazy stuff. The microphone talking into it, blowing into it, speaker. You could use it as a chat. I always thought the microphone and the control was a next step, especially I thought Xbox would have done it first because they were all about Kinect and voice controls to your system. Why do you put a microphone 8 feet away from me, 10 feet away, who have to yell and reverb and all that other stuff? Why wouldn't you just put it in the controller so I can naturally do it? We had it in the NVIDIA controllers, the Amazon Alexa. You have it all over the place. Why wouldn't they're in the controller closer to your mouth? Why wouldn't you put a microphone in the controller? That's why I was in shock when Sony did it. For voice assistance and everything like that, it makes sense. Why would you put it across the way with a microphone array, 10 feet away from you on your TV where you got to scream, Xbox on, Xbox Connect, take screenshot, record that. I thought it would be a natural progression where they would put it in the microphone in the controller. They didn't. Sony did it. And, Microsoft did show its share button, talking about hardware. They showed their share button. You tap it once, takes a screenshot, tap it twice, it does a video clip. Same interface. Hooray. Yeah, very just kind of iterative, like really nothing new or anything like that. And we still need to see what Sony's content button does, and how their button works with the content sharing. And I'm really excited to see what the UI looks like because, it's a generation. As much as people hokey doke Sony for the same at the generations, all they did was make Spider-Man and those games on the PlayStation 4. Spider-Man Horizon and Little Big Planet, Sackboy's Adventure on the PlayStation 4. And from what I saw on the PlayStation 5 coverage of Spider-Man, which they showed, That game doesn't look held back. That game looks friggin' next gen that I want to play. It looks incredible, and they showed the comparison to that. They even showed the Spider-Man remake, and the differences with that, and it looks different. It looks different. Maybe I'm not gonna go play it a fourth time, but it looks different. It's not just like, hey, we jacked up the resolution. Oh, the frame rates run a little better, or the shadows are a little sharper. No, they reskinned it. They redid it. Not maybe a remake, maybe as Shadow of Colossus, but they did something to it. But again, I'm not playing for remakes. Like, I want brand new content built on the PlayStation 5. That's Spider-Man. That's Demon Souls. Even though I might try it, I'm not huge into those games, but it looks incredible. And you can't deny that that's a next gen exclusive. And those are the kind of things you want at a generation. Pick up those games. And that's where the hardware meets the road. Hardware meets the software. That's where it comes together. And that's who succeeds. Just having tech specs does not make you success. But if you could apply those tech specs and the software demonstrates that, the tech specs don't matter. An example of that is you just look at what the Pro and the Series X, we did, the Xbox One X and the Pro, we did this hardware already. Microsoft has had the most powerful console on the market. Has it done anything? Has it shifted the mind share? Has it shifted gamers? Has it shifted developers? Had developers said, screw the PlayStation 4 Pro, I'm going to make everything for the Xbox One X because it's so powerful? Did it? 3.5 years. 3 years, right? 2017? 3 years in, nothing changed. And actually, there were games that ran better on the Pro because they were balanced with frame rate and resolution. Where on the Xbox, they jacked up the resolution and made the game perform not as well. Resident Evil 3 Remake, they had to drop the resolution to what the Pro was to get steady frame rates. Like, that's the power narrative does not work if you don't have your own games. Now, if Microsoft dropped Halo looking absolutely incredible, somebody say, now that's 12 teraflops at work. Instead, people are saying, oh my God, it's held back. Don't make it on the Xbox One. Just put it on the Series X. It looks held back. It looked held back. Craig Meme looked held back. It did not look like a next-gen Halo, nor did it look better than the previous Halos. And you're showing it on a next-gen system, quote-unquote next-gen system. That was where that whole held back thing came from. Because people were concerned, saw Halo and did it. Sony showed Spider-Man, people were screaming. It looked incredible. Nobody was like, oh, and then they said it's on PlayStation 4. Does that change the way it looks? No. It looked incredible. It looked like a next-gen Spider-Man. That's it. Put it on PlayStation 4. Put it on goddamn PlayStation 3. It doesn't matter. Look what it looks like on the PlayStation 5. That's where I'm going to be playing it. And then the cross saves. And then the last thing, I'll probably do this in another video, backwards compatibility. Backwards compatibility. That's Xbox's market. That's the hardware. Their hardware is made to make the old games look better. And we got the backwards compatibility thing. They're playing old games on the hardware, and it does a good job, making them better without being optimized and without being updates and stuff like that. But the thing is that you should have new experiences. And the last point I'll leave you with is, like, you have all these studios. You had studios before you bought all these studios. Why isn't there a Gears 5 expansion, a Gears 5 relaunch, a Gears 5 campaign and new multiplayer? Like Gears 5, even if Halo is not available, why are you not adding content to your existing franchises? Why are you not adding, like, just like what Sony's doing with Spider-Man, what they did with Horizon, where they added Frozen Wilds, what they did with Lost Legacy? They're adding expansions to their hits. Maybe you don't have a full-blown sequel, but at least you have new content built for the new hardware and take some advantages of the new hardware. Maybe it's not the next level, like a sequel, but it's something new to demonstrate the new capabilities and potential of the hardware. not the same old Gears 5 running faster on the same campaign, the same actions, the same animations, the same enemies. No new content, the same content you played. That's not appealing to a lot of people. They'll put it in, go, yeah, it runs better, and then turn it off. Take a couple of screenshots, call it a day. You should have had Gears 5 lined up with a new campaign, a new expansion, or maybe an epilogue or something like that. Maybe a few hours showing the capabilities of the 12 teraflops of the Xbox. Like, that's what you do when you're in the gaming industry, in the gaming business. I don't know what they're doing. They're talking more tech, xCloud, and all this other stuff. But the simple things, the things that we benefit from gaming, they're not doing. And that's what grinds my gears. Sony's given us new content, new experiences for new next-gen hardware. So when you say we believe in generations, Jim Ness is not full Jim Ness, as Phil Spencer's full Phil Ness. He's gone full Phil Ness. Jim Ness is just tweeting along the lines. But in theory, they do believe in generations because they're giving you different UIs, different controlling, different experiences with the controller, different experiences with the hardware. It's not just a bunch of stuff crammed into a box. It's actually modular. It's using new ways to share content. It's giving you new games. And that's the whole point of it. That's what console generations mean. It's not, PC is totally different. That's its own thing. But when you talk about consoles always have what is the banger? What is the game to buy this console with? They always have that. Now, granted, it would have been Halo, but I don't know what the management's doing over there to all their eggs in a Halo basket, and Halo didn't look too hot. Like, even if Halo released in that state, free multiplayer, I don't even know what that looks like. There's some concerns there, and that's for another day. But when you're looking at the hardware, this is great. Metal, copper, the liquid metals, and all this other stuff. But as a consumer, you want, what is the software that I buy with this hardware? Yo, you got the new console? Yeah, man, come over here. Let me check it out. Yo, watch this. Wait, Gears 5, didn't that game come out 2 years ago? Oh, yeah. It came out a year. Yeah, it came out last year. Yeah. Well, why are you playing that now? Oh, it runs better. Look, watch. See? Well, what's different? Oh, the shadows. Look at the shadows there. Those shadows weren't there on the Xbox Series X version. The Xbox One X version. Oh, look, I can run it at 120 frames. Wow, that's cool. There's a 120 frame TV? No, but I can if I get one. Nobody's coming over to watch how Gears runs a little bit better. That's for Digital Foundry, and they like that stuff. Yo, you got the new Spider-Man? Yeah, watch it. Holy crap, look at that game. Wow, that looks like a friggin' movie. Holy crap. I gotta go get myself a PlayStation 5. The best marketing is word of mouth. And that's how it happens. And what happens, demand increases, and you're back at a 2-to-1, 3-to-1. Who knows? Mind share, exclusives, all that stuff. The lead platform for development gets it. And also, that's something that you don't want. That's why when you say console sales don't matter, it should matter, because that's where it's going to determine in the next generation where developers are going to make their games first. You always want to be the lead platform for development. That's why the 360 succeeded. It came out a year ahead. Developers had it under their belt. They used the 360 as the console to develop for first and ported it over to the PlayStation. That's why half those games weren't optimized, because nobody was going to take time to deal with the cell processor. Same thing happened with the SRAM. That's what happened with 1080p and 900p. This is the stuff that happens when you have a lead platform development, and they determine the lead platform on what console is selling the most and what console has permeated the market. And you want to go back, even look at the Cliffy B. Go back and, when he was talking about Lawbreakers, which was a game, but when he got criticized, why didn't you put this on Xbox? He goes, I got a small team. I'm putting it on the platform that's the most out there. Like, I'm gonna put it on the lead platform that's selling 2 to 1. And people criticized him on it. That didn't make his game successful because that's the quality. That was the problem with the game. But the theory, the mentality from the developers going, well, if I'm gonna make a game, I only can make it on one platform. I can't make it on Xbox and a PC and all the stuff at one time. If I gotta make one game, where I'm gonna make it, put it on the one that's at 100 million consoles sold, and not the 40 million consoles sold. I have a better chance of selling to 100 million people than I have 40 million people. Oh, but Xbox has PC and all that other stuff. Yeah, but that means I gotta make it for PC. I gotta make it for Xbox. I gotta make it for the Series S. I gotta make it. I gotta put more work in to make it available on more platforms. That's great. The PlayStation is one singular platform. PlayStation hardware go for 100 million. Whereas, yeah, you could reach a lot more people, but now you got to make an Xbox version, a PC optimized version. That's why Microsoft's focusing on the tools to try to make that easier, but it's still multiple platforms. And some developers do not want to waste that time to do that stuff. Time is money. So they're going to put it on the console that is selling the most. That's why console sales matter. That's why the demand for the PlayStation 5 and the demand for the Series X is very important. And the fact that Series X doesn't have that demonstrating software yet is going to be pretty damaging. And I think, years from now, we're going to go back, just like how we go back in 2013 and say the messaging. I think we're going to be looking back 4 or 5 years from now and go, they didn't have any games at launch that really showed the hardware. That's why Microsoft's hardware really is not doing too well. Now, here come the games, Bethesda's games 2-3 years from now, these games, and it's going to be like, yeah, okay, well, maybe Microsoft has to resort to putting it on multi-platforms because their console platform did not take off. I don't know, but, I can tell you this is the first time in a history that a console is launching without a first-party next-gen exclusive. A first-party exclusive, like, I've never, I think every, you had Rise, you had Halo, you had Perfect Dark for the Xbox generation, at least one, right? PlayStation 2, I don't even know PlayStation because I wasn't really into PlayStation. PlayStation 3 had like whatever, had something. I think they had like some giant enemy crab or crap. At least they had something. That's what I mean. It's not that it was good, but you at least have something that people will buy. And what's interesting is that usually a crap game, just because it's a next-gen exclusive, it shows its capabilities, or a game that's maybe not it doesn't have to be a 9 out of 10. It's just that you have to represent. Even Rise, Rise wasn't game of the year, but I really liked it. It was a 7 game, but it showcased the Xbox One X. It was great to buy that console just as a gamer, not a console war win or anything like that, but just, hey, I bought the hardware. What great game do I have to play with this? And then you play it and you're like, this is only on the Xbox. Look at this. Look at just imagine what they're gonna do with these graphics. Look, they're doing this with Rise now. That's the feeling that you get. Now, looking back, it didn't amount to anything. But the time getting that's the excitement of getting the new console. And when you get the PlayStation 5, you're going to go get the Sony. You're going to get Spider-Man and go, this is awesome. Oh, man, this is great. Look at this. I can't wait to see what Spider-Man 2 looks like. If this is what they're doing right now with this cross-gen game. And Horizon. And then you go, what is the next God of War going to look like? If that's going to be only on PlayStation 5. What are we looking at here? That's the excitement of next generation. As a console fan, that's what it is. And one's really doing it, and the other one's just like, just play Forza 7 or 6 again. It's the same game. It's not like that they're adding content and features and expandability to their games. It's the same game that you played 5 years ago. Yes, you're getting it in Game Pass, but it's the same game. If you're not playing it now or have no desire to play it, you're going to boot it up and just be like, okay. Dude, I don't know. But hey, to each his own. All I'm going to say is that teardown, software meets hardware, cross-generation. One's banking on backwards compatibility. Sony just dropped some news. All their games, 99% of their games will be backwards compatible to PlayStation 4. They'll get boost mode. So you know what? In addition to all that stuff that I was speaking about with new next-gen games, all your games come with you, all your backwards compatibility, and they run better. So you could have your cake and eat it too with the PlayStation 5. Xbox, you still have to wait for new games coming out, new next-gen games. First party, they have all those studios now, but not one game. They got, I guess, Gears Tactics, which is a PC port of a control. They finally patched in the controller, probably functioning better. Who knows? Top down, not really a console type game. That's the reason why it was on PC first, I guess. I don't know. We still never knew clarity on that one. And then you get the Medium possibly coming in December as a new experience from Boogaboo or Booga Studios that made Blair Witch the banger of the year last year, right? I guess so. But, to each his own. We'll see what that looks like too. But play your old games better as Xbox. Play new next-gen games on PlayStation, As a console, I'll tell you where I'm going on that one. I'm going to play old games. If I have no desire to play them now, and that's I said the final point. That's the other thing regarding the backwards compatibility and the hardware breakdown. The thing is that with backwards compatibility, I could see Sony relying on that more, considering they had games of the year. They just had 2 great games coming out. Even with Ghost of Tsushima getting its update later this week, going to get the multiplayer update. You could see Sony relying more on the older games because they had amazing Game of the Year contenders, Game of the Year winners. They had, just in the last few years, the God of Wars, the Horizons, Detroit's, the Last of Us 2 that came out in the summertime, Ghost of Tsushima, which just came out. They had, all of these games coming out. Sony had such, and they actually do that with the PlayStation Collection to give you all those games with the PlayStation Collection. I don't think it goes to Last of Us 2, but they give you like a bunch of like games from this early in this generation. I could have saw Sony relying more on, hey, we don't have anything. We don't have any new games coming. You're going to play all these amazing games that we just had, an amazing generation. You're just going to play them better on the PlayStation 5. No, that's Microsoft's thing. And then the unfortunate thing is Microsoft really didn't do enough this generation to warrant people even replaying these games. Yeah, you might throw Sea of Thieves in, but, Gears 5, Halo 5, they really didn't hit the way they should have hit, that they had these legacy games that you want to keep playing. So for Microsoft to be relying on backwards compatibility, it's like you're relying on the worst generation that you had in gaming. Where Sony's like, hey, you got backwards compatibility in one of our best generations of new IP and Game of the Year winners that you might want to play again on the new hardware. But we don't stop there. We're also giving you a new Spider-Man, a new Horizon, just in the launch one, a new Ratchet and Clank, a redo of a Demon Souls. Like, if it's anything like Shadow Colossus, that thing's gonna be freaking crazy. Shadow Colossus was incredible. What they redid in Blue Point. So you got, not only do you have this whole generation of great games that you could replay on better hardware, with better experiences, with boost, and if it gets enhanced. But now you're getting new games too. In addition to a new control with new features on it. Not just a button, but actually tactile features. Things that are going to immerse you in a game. You're getting that. A modular console that's able to be customized. So it's like the VR. We have a whole slew of VR games coming, and VR is compatible. And the one thing though I do to say about the hardware breakdown, that the PlayStation 5 camera doesn't work with the VR. Which I was like, oh, really? But which is good is that your PlayStation 4 camera works with your VR, and there's an adapter that they're going to give you for free that you're able to hook it up. I don't know the process of that. We'll see how that works, but they'll give you an adapter to make it a USB, because they had a proprietary USB port on the back. That's why you have to change it to regular USB for that. So we'll see how they do that. But the VR works, and I can't imagine how VR's games are going to run better on PlayStation 5. But they got all that going for them, and Xbox is relying on backwards compatibility for a failed generation, of games that really didn't hit home, really didn't do anything, and not until the end of the generation where they bought a bunch of studios and now they're getting you ready for 5 years from now. Yes, you got 360 games, which thank God, I guess, because if you look at Xbox One, you're like, ugh, like Microsoft had, their first party output wasn't that great. So, like, it's very interesting that Sony is not relying on backwards compatibility as much as Microsoft is, considering Sony had an amazing generation in software. So that's just a last point that I'll leave you guys with, and hopefully you like this video, and but definitely hit the subscribe button and share it out. I'm gonna be doing some more of these videos, some quick thoughts, to say, or just some topics I wanted to talk about when I can't go live. But I will be going live with the Grinds My Gears and the Grinds board. So stay tuned for that. But please, share, like this video out. Again, this has been Jez7780 with a What Grinds My Gears hot takes, and I am out.